Taurus, Taurus, Taurus. We have some strong cards in your reading today, my dear friends. All right, bovine babies. I am looking at two extremes here. One, I just pulled out a couple of cards to get started. We're going to pull out tarot cards together. These are polar opposite energies. Like when I say extreme, they're very extremely different. This is the energy that I'm pulling out for you guys. You got the Underworld card and the oyster. That is like, that's intense. That is intense, intense, intense energy. It's grappling with something that's come to an end. There's different stages that you all could be at as I pull this card out, okay? Some of you could be in the stage here where you have just suffered. It's almost like some type of massive blow. You suffered some type of massive blow, and this massive blow is a tower moment, and it's also a tower moment where everything within something, it doesn't have to be your whole life. It could be a relationship, it could be a job, it could be a home, like it could be any one of those things, but it's big and it's significant. It just like, it's over. Either you've hit something and you're feeling like some type of painful end here with the underworld, or you've kind of already gone past that stage and you're in the, I want to say like the tuck and curl, like sort of like nurturing yourself, hanging on tight as you get through this really difficult energy, because you don't know who you are at different points of this type of energy. Like who you are is being completely, feels like torn apart, rebuilt now, okay? Everybody's coming here on a slightly different story. So like the kind of three major stages of that. The first one we said, it just happened. The second one is you're kind of like in a fetal position, like trying to hang on for dear life, get through it, go through the confusion. It's like a 10 of swords too, like, who am I? Who am I in this? Who was I before? Who am I going to be on the other side of this? And then the third stage is someone who has kind of like done all the alchemy involved in that process and is preparing to kind of like hatch out and step into life again. Like it's all very slow though. Like the process is, this is not something that happens really quickly. Like this is the deepest, heaviest shadow work card. Yeah, it's like in almost any deck that I have, the Underworld. The oyster to me is when I talk about like the wisdom that sits within the oyster, but this is wisdom that is gained, pearls of wisdom that are gained through grit and time, like grit and time, right? I feel like that's the energy of the oyster as you approach stage number 3, which is kind of like starting to hatch out and rediscover who you are. But who you are is sort of like someone wearing all these beads of pearls as you come out. Each one of them signifies a major lesson that was accomplished not easily here. So the oyster though also talks about like being closed off. Like this is almost like, it feels like somebody who shut a door and is going through it, like just going through it. Close the door, going through it, can't access them. Might also be like confused about who you are and what your abilities are. You know, the oyster talks about having special talents and abilities, but not necessarily sharing them, like shutting that all off. That's like your energy, right? Like it's very intense. It is a deep shadow work energy. Some of you have just hit it. Some of you are in the middle of it. And some of you are starting to kind of like, right, that's where this light is starting to shine through. And you really understand who you are to some extent. So because who you are needs to be practiced, right? Like you have to start practicing who you are after a major shadow period like this. You don't just like open up the blinds one day, all right, here we go. I don't know, maybe for some people, but I think it's more like, you know, I'm picturing like a fawn, you know, like just kind of those wobbly legs and trying to get it going, right? You're going to get it going, but it takes a minute to kind of steady yourself after that kind of energy. It's pretty intense. Okay. This is the energy. This is something that you're dealing with. This is the heart and the otter. Okay. That's heavy. Well, because of what it's connected with. There's an area of your heart here, and whatever's going on for you, in whatever way this is showing up in your life, this is affecting, like, it's the heart center here that is the area that you are most working with. Okay, like let's say something happened in your career, or let's say, I don't know, let's just do that, because it's not necessarily something that you think is going to affect your heart center. That's the reason for it. There's something, like, let's say you were involved in a career that was really stifling down your heart, and it was really stifling, like, a big part of who you are and how you want to creatively and beautifully express yourself in life. You know, I know a few friends that have to kind of take on a completely different persona to go to work, and some of them have had, like, sick leaves too, because it gets to you after a while. You know, I mean, there could be that. It's about finding your heart here. This is like, your energy is like hitting rock bottom. Right? Like, I don't know where you are in that process. We've all been there before. We'll all be there again. Different points. Like, that's life. Life is like that. Is, right? I'd like to tell you different, but I would be lying to you. I mean, there might be the odd person out there where life is just kind of like this, you know, but most of us, it's going to be like that. And the cards that I'm pulling out, this is a down. Some of you are coming up on the upswing again. Some of you are right down in it. The otter is playful. Okay, so the otter is a very playful energy. That's the way through this. To me, that feels like that's the way through this. The otter is playful. The otter, what does the otter do? But the otter dives down, finds itself an oyster or a clam, cracks it open and gets inside there, doesn't it? It does. Oh, how interesting that those two came out together. I thought it was interesting. At first, I just noticed that they were both water elements. I thought, okay, well, that makes sense too with the heart. Moisture is also important in the decomposition process, because if you don't have moisture, there's usually like some type of mummification or petrifying that goes on without moisture. So that is important. So when I say that too, like, there could be an emotional purging. Oh my God, that makes so much sense. I'm sitting here, I have actually like a pretty good day. Sitting here, Lily and I, we went for a walk. I come down, I sit down, I'm getting ready to do readings, but I had to get myself kind of organized. I pulled out your card. I did like my little mantra prayer thing. And then I sat down and I had like my a playlist going for getting ready to do tarot. And I felt like emotionally overwhelmed. And I'm thinking, was it like a perimenopause thing? Maybe I'm just like, but that makes sense with your cards. Because at one point I thought, maybe I'm like starting to hit into the energy of Taurus. Like, it's, very emotional. It was very emotional. Yeah, and then after the cards came out, that kind of went away, which is interesting. Very emotional. Like, I feel like I could cry. Like, I just like feel, yeah. And I thought maybe it's just perimenopause. It could have been, but I don't know. Now that I'm looking at these cards and the water, right, that has come through here, because this is breaking it down. You got to let some tears out. You definitely need to let some tears out. Maybe some of you are drying them up. The worms are taking more action. Like, even look at it. I'm sorry. If you're up close, my hands are so dirty. I have been doing so much yard work for the last 2 months, and I've been wearing gloves diligently, except yesterday. One day it didn't. And it looks like I've been, playing in the dirt for months. But anyways, I've washed and scrubbed. It's as clean as it's getting. So sorry. It's kind of like the Underworld. Look at my fingers. Look like I've been down there with you. Look at how there's two eyes. Like, these eyes are pulled apart. It's almost like feeling like you're like trying to gain perspective. Is my perspective off? Maybe the world perspective is off. Maybe their perspective is off. What the fuck is off? What is going on here? And then I see, like, the little face, there's teeth. There's, like, teeth in here. It almost feels like being eaten by different things. There's almost like a highlight of the moon. This almost feels like you're in the dirt. And you're trying to, like, find your way out. It's literally like a death card rebirth. It's so strong, this energy. It's so strong. And it does feel like you're being pulled apart with the worms. Like, you don't even know who you are anymore. You don't. I mean, honestly, that's like back to the earth. Back to the earth to be reborn. The way through it is finding playfulness and as much in your heart. So, you know, to say that too, maybe playfulness in the heart is what the energy is that's waiting for you. Because you can't bypass this kind of shadow work. I mean, if it just catches up to you. Maybe you have been. Maybe you've been trying to bypass some type of shadow work here, because this is heavy with the oyster. This is like closed off. It's almost difficult for any light to get through at this point. Huh. It's interesting playing through my mind's eye here. I'm seeing, okay, in this scenario, you're the one who's challenging, okay? There's two people, and one is quite big. I don't know. I want to say that's because it's almost like the power of the universe. One is quite big, and you're this also very, you know, imposing and prominent yourself. Like, even if you're not a big person, your energy is, and kind of like wanting to walk forward, and then this big imposing energy is there and says, and you're like, hey, excuse me, I'm going, or finding ways around it, and then, you know, you kind of get thrown back into a chair. I just see getting up out of a chair, and this imposing energy keep pushing you, keep pushing you, keep pushing you, and to the point where you eventually, like, you go so hard at it, it knocks you back, because this feels like forced to do a shadow work. And okay, when it's forced to do a shadow work, I haven't pulled out any tarot, but I'm getting so much out of this without the tarot at this point. These are just oracle cards. Is the Tower moment. The Tower moment comes at us in two ways. We can initiate it, or the universe can. And every single time, it's better to do it on your own. Because when the universe, if you do it on your own, it's still not going to be easy. Like, this is never easy. But at least you could have planned for it. You know that you made the choice to do it. And here we go. We're in it. And, right? Like, it's not easy. This is never easy. But when the universe does it, that's even harder. Because we're usually not ready for it. And the universe will just pull the rug out from under us, and here's your Tower moment. Now's your Tower moment, and now you have to do the shadow work. The Tower moment only comes through in two ways. It's if we do it, or the universe does it. Maybe for some of you, this is, you know, you do it. It could be. It just because of the oyster closed, that feels like sheltering, you know, like trying to shelter. I mean, where I live here, there's a lot of fresh water. I'm not by an ocean or anything. So I do, like, in the lakes and whatnot, we have, like, mussels and clams. And you can see them wide open if you go, like, under the water, you go snorkeling or something. You know, you can't just close it up. You don't even touch it. It's like they can't see, but they must sense something. Maybe it's the energy, maybe it's the movement of the water, maybe it's heat coming off of my skin. I don't know what it is, but they know, and then poof, they close up right away. That's what that's. It's almost like if someone comes close, you're closed up right away. And when I say if someone comes close, maybe if somebody comes close to having a conversation with you, even that goes deeper into what you want to go into, you close right off, or you redirect the conversation. It's a very intense energy. And I'm not saying that any of those things are wrong. I don't think they are. Because there is a vulnerability in this energy. It is very vulnerable, which I want to say too is also, like, good that the oyster is here with you. Because if you are feeling super vulnerable in this massive, massive shadow period here, massive shadow period, like tower, if you're feeling vulnerable, you should utilize this oyster. Close it up. Protect yourself. Because it is like a soft and gooey energy. You're not going to be the same person that you were on the other side of this, that you went into it as. So the otter heart is what you're dealing with. It might be trying to be hopeful about the heart too. This also has a very nostalgic energy to me. This kind of sepia tone to it. People out in a canoe or in a rowboat. you know, just like being born in the 70s, the early 70s, and like it seems like so many photographs, and even in the 60s, had like the coloring was a little bit off, and you just get that like real nostalgic kind of vibe to it. And it could be, maybe you're dealing, that would make sense with the underworld. You could be dealing with some sort of nostalgia here. And it's to be hopeful, hopeful of a return of the heart. The heart is the center of your soul. That's the place to hold tight here. The heart is the center of your soul. So when the rest of you feels like it's torn apart, your mind, your sense of self, maybe even your body, like there's could be a lot of things accompanied with this energy. Yeah, it's like a lot of aches and pains, fatigue, drink lots of water, get lots of rest. Depending on what's happening too, there could be a lot of adrenaline going through your body as well. Like when tower moments happen, we're usually in survival modes at different points. So there could be a lot of adrenaline that you're going through also. It's important to try to flush through that. If you're starting to feel fatigued at some point, if you can, give yourself that time to sleep. Even if it's in the middle of the day or something and you're not a napper. Because it's right, like I remember reading about this when I had like a little baby. When you start to see them, go for the nap, go now, go, because that they'll go to sleep easy. We're like that too, because if we don't, if we're forced to stay awake when we feel like we want to go to sleep, our body shoots up the adrenaline, like to keep you awake. Because, you know, well, maybe there's tigers around and you can't sleep. It's how our body works. Like, oh, there's saber-toothed tigers out there. You got to stay awake. Okay, give them adrenaline. Because if that doesn't happen, they'll fall asleep and get eaten. So, right, like, I don't know. I just feel like there's really look after yourself in this energy. But the heart center is what you're dealing with. It's playful. The heart wants to be playful. Yet you're closed off in decomposition. The heart wants to be playful and you're closed off in decomposition. Well, and it's like, well, I don't know who I am. I don't feel... This is really too. I mean, it even feels like a chrysalis with the oyster. I feel like I'm catching you at a point where I'm, right, like thinking of all the gardening, like there's a few like little chrysalises that I have found in leaves and things like that. And, you know, I give them a little... And some of them move. Well, okay, so I put them in a little safe spot. Some of them don't. I still put them off to the side. I'm like, well, I don't know. Maybe you're just sleeping. It's going to crush you. Although some you can tell they're just hollow and empty and it's just dust inside. See, this is why the water is so important. Yeah, I feel like I'm catching you on the chrysalis. And I can't see what's inside yet. And I know it's important to just, you know, just put it off to the side. Just, it'll do its own thing here. It needs time. You need time. Why are the cards... I don't know why all the cards are falling to the left lately. And it's too many. It's too many. It's a whole pile. I guess maybe because I shuffle that way. That's logical, right? If I was going this way, they would probably shoot that way. I solved my own problem. At least I figured it out and solved it. Okay. Let's look at a tarot for the underworld. Oh my God. The world card. Wow. Okay, but that's also interesting, right? Because I said, like, some of you are on different spots in this. Like, something in your life made your end here. It's over. That's like, there's no turning back when the world card comes out. And it's finished in its completeness. Like, that's it. It's in its wholeness, it's completed. But the world means you're starting fresh again, right? On the other side of that. It's a fresh start. It goes into the Fool card. It's interesting, too. You have the world twice. Like, underworld, world. But feeling like you're under the world. All right, ending. Oyster. Huh, the Chariot. That makes sense. I mean, okay. It's trying to get emotions moving here. Something is finished and you're trying to get emotions moving again. You're not, I also feel, okay, I'm feeling like you're not one to want to share emotionally. You're not one to want to open emotionally. That shell is stopping anyone from accessing anyone or certain people. I don't know, some of you could be thinking about moving. Tell me more about the Chariot. Actually, no, tell me more about the World. Oh my gosh. There you are in the chrysalis, the Eight of Swords. It's hard to see where this all goes. It's hard to see why the Two of Cups and the Lovers. But that's the World. It feels like a major path that's come to an end. Tell me about the Chariot. The Father of Swords. Oh, see, that's not. The Wheel of Fortune. And the Father of Wands. Yeah, you're not utilizing any emotional energy here. Like, I don't want to say, like, you are to some extent, but I feel like it's more like in shadow alchemy process. Like, I think this reading is really relevant because, like I said, there's 3 points that you could be on in this. And at some point, it's going to be important to move into the water element. Looking at things very, I think with this 2 father energies, the Father of Swords and Wands, there's strategy here. It feels like strategy. It feels like your will, both your drive and your mind, right? Like getting up out of that chair and then the universe saying, I don't know, I told you many times you need to sit down and do the shadow work. And you're like, I can push through this. I can push through this. I can push through this. This is also, to me, the energy could be like someone who is getting a lot of physical symptoms about something, right? Like about their health and working in a very stressful environment too. And like your body's trying to tell you, there's always warning signs before like a tower moment comes in like this, if it's the universe initiating it. So let's see the oyster, or the oyster. We just looked at the oyster. The otter. I wanted to say the otter. Funny, they both start with O too. I see strategy. It's almost like looking for something to change with the Wheel of Fortune. Also, I think there's a part of your ego here. Well, there's going to be a part of your ego that goes through decomposition with this type of energy. But there's a little bit of not wanting to cooperate with the universe. And then that could be, I feel like that's probably the ego. The ego is always going to hang on the hardest, the longest. But it won't. The heart is the part that always survives. So let's look at the heart. The 10 of Pentacles. It could be a home. A home. The 10 of Pentacles. The 7 of Swords. The Mother of Wands. And the 6 of Swords. Oh, that's interesting because you have the Father of Wands here. Some of you, this could be about a relationship that's come to an end. Yeah, it's a because you have the Lovers, and that's the World, and the Two of Cups. Are you dealing with someone who is gone in a new direction? Tell me about the otter. The Four of Pentacles. Okay, that makes sense. I was trying to figure out, the otter card is looking at the heart card. And when I pulled it, I expected, right, because I thought this was energy you were going towards, but the otter is like you. It's like this feels stuck. It's almost like wanting to participate, thinking, yeah, I'm going to go and I'm going to do this, you know, with the Father of Swords and the Father of Wands. Yeah, I'm going to make a change. I'm going to go out there. Everything's going to be great. And then, like, I don't know. And then it's almost like you emotionally freeze. Right? Like I said, it's like that doe, the fawn, you know, like kind of, it's not like we pull up the blind and we go dashing into the light after this kind of an energy. Nice. Yeah, the Three of Swords. So I'm looking at this Four of Pentacles, the Four of Wands, and the Magician. This is a hard energy to manifest in. It's a very difficult energy to manifest in. It's like you're attempting to, but I don't know how successful that will be. I just want to ask for like an advice for Taurus. Ooh, the Six of Cups, how interesting. I mean, this is like very rooted energy. Oh, feed the roots. Feed your roots, the underworld. The roots are your foundation. The roots are, it's the stuff that nobody else sees. This is the stuff that no one sees. You know, it's very interesting to note. Like a tree, for the health of a tree, if you're planting a tree, I learned this from an arborist years ago. If you're planting a tree, you put a newly planted tree in the ground, regardless of how big that tree is when it goes into the ground. You should not fertilize that tree for the first 3 years. Because what you end up doing when you fertilize the tree, fertilizer, it encourages canopy growth. And it doesn't, so the canopy will outgrow the root system and they'll never equalize again at that point. I guess they could, but you'd have to work pretty hard. And you should also not water it right at the base. You should water outside to force the roots out. So you won't see much growth. See, but that's not satisfying. Because we want to see that canopy. I planted that tree because I want to see it grow. I planted that tree because I don't want to look at my neighbor. I planted that tree because I don't want to run, right? Because this is the growth that makes this tree stand forever. Because when you fertilize it too early, it needs the first 3 years for the roots to spread out, to get bigger than the canopy. And then whatever kind of wind or storm goes through, this tree is not going to be uprooted by winds like 40 or 50 years. And you might be like, I don't care in 40 or 50 years. I'm just saying, you got to fertilize these roots, which is, it's growth that nobody else sees. And that's what it is. It's growth that nobody else sees. And, but it's growth that gives you payback down the way. Because if you just fertilize, if you fertilize right now, right? Like it has to be natural fertilizer. And a lot of times like chemical fertilizers with like any type of fertilizer that you put in, is going to kill like the worms and stuff like that too. I guess you could put like a compost maybe, but put it so many feet around where the roots would be. Make those roots work for the fertilizer. You have to fertilize. My gosh. Yeah, and you have the death card at the bottom. Man. I'm going to go do your extended. Yeah, I'm going to ask, what is your greatest accomplishment yet to come? I'm going to ask that. I'm going to continue working with these cards and see how it relays that to you. So your greatest accomplishment yet to come, Taurus. Thank you so much, Bovine Babies. The 2 links in the description below if you would like to follow me to the extended. Until next time, be gentle with yourselves. Bye.